Let's try to find team fit for a few of the most important NFL free agents still on the market. Teams often negotiate after waiting the first few days of free agency, as players with expectations of making multi-year deals get one-year deals with the opportunity to test everything again next season. A prime example of last year would be Geno Smith, who signed a one-year deal to return to the Seahawks more than a month after free agency started. All Smith did was beat Drew Lock for his starting job at camp, scored 30 touchdown passes, and earned a 3-year, $75 million deal to return to the team earlier this month. $3.5 million isn't a bad use for Seattle, is it? I will also shoot two players that might be in the trading market and try to find a sensible deal to open new homes for them. Let's start with free agent first Director Bobby Wagner. LB After a disappointing 2021 season, the Seahawks began cutting their legendary linebackers. With Wagner caught up with the Rams and looking rejuvenated, the future Hall of Famer may not be as foot-fleet as it once was, but it has struggled to 6 sacks and 10 losses, lowering its passing score by more than 10 points and missing just 2 tackles all season. For a year billed as a 5-year, $50 million deal, Wagner and Rams parted ways. I thought it would be a clear fit for Chargers, who run the same defense as Rams and punch a hole in their roster with Drue Tranquill leaving at free agency, but they opted to sign veteran Eric Kendricks instead. The market start-off ball linebackers has settled in the $6 million to $8 million range, and we've seen plenty of opportunities be filled over the past week. Is there a place for Wagner? Possible deal 1 year, $6 million in bills. Buffalo lost Tremaine Edmunds to a mammoth bid from the Bears, leaving them a hole in the side of Matt Milano. Klein is also a freelance manager, and although the team had Terrel Bernard ready to replace Edmunds, the 2022 third-round pick only played as 111 total tenths. Sean McDermott's defense is built around double-action linebacker who harks back to his days in the Carolinas. Wagner would be a stable asset for team with Super Bowl aspirations. Teddy Bridgewater, QB, UK. Since the 2022 season, Bridgewater is expected to still be available. It didn't feel like he had settled into Mike McDaniel's cell Miami because he was injured in opening streak of his first spotlight debut as a replacement for Tua Tagovailoa against Jets, then played nearly entire game week after Skylar Thompson fell. His other spotlight start came against Patriots, a game where he suffered an injury at the end of a pickup and was not able to play later in postseason. If you want to look good at end of year, try not to make just 2 starts against second and fourth place pass defenses in DVOA. Bridgewater's 5.1% interception rate was out of character for his career, and one of his 4 picks suffered an ugly fall. More than 2,000 passing attempts have proven to be inaccurate. Low-ceiling passer who is absolutely loved by his teammates, possibly from being overqualified to be the backup quarterback. He's now become a senior backup, but that's the same league that has repeatedly underestimated him throughout his career. So I'm not surprised he's still unsigned. There are a few teams that aren't currently following Bridgewater. They'll be wishing they had when they started in December. Possible deal 1 year with the Ravens, $5 million. Although Baltimore is already the only team to have Pro Bowl quarterback on their roster as a backup, I'm not sure Tyler Huntley is player of NFL caliber. Although it didn't do much to work in the receiver, the limited free agent averaged 5.8 meters per attempt, and it's nearly impossible to sustain a crime with a passer by who is so inefficient. Bridgewater isn't going to do much more than crash occasionally as a runner, so he's not fit for the same offense the Ravens coached with Lamar Jackson. Jackson's status for 2023 is uncertain, and with Baltimore hiring Todd Monken as offensive coordinator, The job posting for the Ravens no longer requires experience operating quarterback power. Bridgewater will be a solid start if Jackson keeps or leaves the organization. And Jackson makes a much better backup than Huntley if he misses time with an injury for the third consecutive year. Ezekiel Elliott. RB While Elliott's unfortunate final shot with the Cowboys comes as a centerpiece. His inevitable release keeps us focused on what he's doing well. No, he's not one of league's best runners or the focus of an offense. After falling steadily over past 3 seasons, before last season, it was clear to see Dallas let him believe Tony Pollard, who ran 1,007 meters and had 12 touchdowns last season. It will be a much cheaper deal. Elliott could be valuable. He was a proficient runner through tackle in 2022, producing 26 rushing yards above expectation on 117 carry. After a sloppy season in 2020, he has only fumbled once in 532 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons. Most importantly, it is an excellent transition guard that can help determine its role in the back rotation. Possible deal 1 year, $4 million with the Buccaneers. Here he would be part of a split backcourt with Rachaad White, who would serve as the team's primary pass catcher from the backcourt. Elliott would be an early runner and much-needed pass protection specialist for an offense that is now expected to kick off either Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask as quarterback. Tampa will move towards a heavier approach after Tom Brady's retirement, so it will need someone to turn with White. Marcus Peters. CB, the 3-time Pro Bowler, feels like it's been around forever. But Peters has just turned 30 and still has something to offer. He missed the entire 2021 with a torn ACL and wasn't at his best level last season as he wasn't ready to play in the opener and then missed 3 games in December with a calf injury. When he played, he struggled, allowing a passer rating of 113.7 and 7 touchdowns in coverage. Peters will always allow for a big game or two, but his ability to read and pack opposing quarterbacks has made him more than $60 million in contracts. He's probably looking at a 1-year deal for modest money. But is there anywhere he can fill a role? Possible deal 1 year with the Giants. $2.5 million. After Peters joined the Ravens in 2019, he grew up under defensive coordinator Don Martindale, who joined the Giants. Martindale's defense took just 6 passes last season, making it the fewest of any team. Giants can use a quarterback as a secondary. With Fabian Moreau, there is a clear corner in the free agent market. Peters can race the 2022 third-round Cordell Flott for this opportunity. Donovan Smith. OT ready to deal with a penalty or 2? Smith is proficient player in a high-value position, but has tendency to hold. His 7 calls for Bucs last season were most of any lineman, leading NFL in arranging calls and total penalties over past 3 seasons. Number 2 in the same timeframe is Jawan Taylor, who signed a big deal with the Chefs, so getting a collective penalty isn't entirely disqualifying. Offensive players are like pitchers in baseball even when it seems like your team has enough on paper when the season starts. They always need more. Every team has a swing challenge, but most are left-hand responsibilities. Couple.